Welcome! Today we're making abalone porridge, a comforting and nutritious Korean dish that's both flavorful and delicate. This porridge is known for its rich oceanic flavor, thanks to the tender abalone combined with creamy rice. Let's dive into the process and create a bowl of comforting homemade abalone porridge. Alright, let's get started with our abalone porridge. First, we have 2 fresh abalones. These will give our porridge a deep oceanic flavor. We also need 1 cup of short grain rice, which we've already soaked for 30 minutes to soften it. For a nice nutty base, we'll use 1 tablespoon of sesame oil. Then, to cook the porridge, we need 4 cups of water, or for extra depth, use anchovy or dashima broth. Don't forget the minced garlic, just 1 clove, to add a little aromatic kick. Lastly, have some salt or soy sauce on hand for seasoning, and if you like, garnish with chopped green onions, roasted sesame seeds, and nori strips. Ready? Let's start cooking. Let's begin by preparing the abalone. If you're using fresh abalone, start by scrubbing the shells under cold water with a brush to remove any dirt. Once they're clean, grab a spoon and gently insert it between the shell and the flesh, carefully separating the abalone from its shell. Now, you'll notice a darker part. This is the liver and innards. You can either remove it or keep it. Some like to use it for richer flavor. Once cleaned, rinse the abalone flesh, then slice it thinly into bite-sized pieces. Set those slices aside for now. Next, let's move to the rice. Take 1 cup of short grain rice, which should have been soaking in water for at least 30 minutes by now. This step softens the rice and makes it easier to cook into that smooth, creamy porridge we're aiming for. Drain the soaked rice using a fine mesh strainer and rinse it under cold water until the water runs clear. This will remove any excess starch, so the porridge doesn't become overly sticky. Once the rice is well drained, set it aside for cooking later. Now, if you want to elevate the flavor a bit more, let's make a quick broth. In a pot, pour 4 cups of water and add a small handful of dried anchovies along with a 5-inch piece of dashima or kelp. Let it come to a boil, and once it does, lower the heat and simmer for about 10 minutes. This will give you a light, savory broth. After simmering, strain the liquid and discard the solids. You can use this broth to cook the porridge instead of plain water. It'll give a more umami depth to the dish. If you're using water, you can skip this step. Now it's time to cook the abalone. In a pot, heat 1 tablespoon of sesame oil over medium heat. Once it's warmed up, add the sliced abalone that we prepared earlier. Stir the abalone in the oil for about 1 to 2 minutes, just until it starts turning opaque. If you decided to keep the liver and innards, this is the time to add them in as well, mashing them into the mixture. Cooking the abalone in sesame oil gives it a lovely nutty aroma, and sautéing it helps to soften the flesh before adding the rice. With the abalone slightly sautéed, we're going to add the drained rice into the pot. Stir the rice into the abalone and sesame oil for about 2 to 3 minutes, ensuring each grain is coated in the oil. You'll start to notice the rice grains toasting just slightly, which is exactly what we want. It gives a subtle roasted flavor to the porridge. Make sure to keep stirring so nothing sticks to the bottom of the pot. This step also helps the rice absorb the flavor of the abalone before we add any liquids. Now that our rice is well coated and toasty, it's time to add the water, or the broth we made earlier. Pour 4 cups of liquid into the pot and bring everything to a boil over medium-high heat. Once it's boiling, reduce the heat to low and let the porridge simmer gently. Stir it occasionally, scraping the bottom to prevent the rice from sticking. The rice will slowly release its starch, creating that creamy, comforting porridge texture. Let it simmer for about 20 to 30 minutes. You can add more water or broth as needed if it starts to thicken too much. By now, your porridge should be thick and creamy, with tender rice and flavorful abalone. Taste the porridge and season it with salt or soy sauce, depending on your preference. For an extra layer of flavor, stir in 1 minced garlic clove and let it simmer for another 5 minutes. If you want a bit of garnish, sprinkle some chopped green onions, roasted sesame seeds, and nori strips on top just before serving. And there you have it. Your delicious abalone porridge is ready to enjoy. Serve it warm and savor the rich flavors. Lastly, let's take a moment to go over a few tips to make your abalone porridge even better. First, soaking the rice is key. Soaking it for at least 30 minutes softens the grains, which allows them to cook faster and creates that creamy, smooth texture we want in the porridge. Second, if you're using fresh abalone, be sure to handle it gently while cleaning and slicing. Keeping or discarding the liver is up to you. It can add a slightly richer flavor and greenish hue, so it's great if you want a more intense taste, but you can leave it out if you prefer a lighter flavor. Next, when cooking the abalone, sautéing it in sesame oil is crucial. This step enhances the nutty aroma and softens the abalone, ensuring it stays tender as the porridge cooks. Be careful not to overcook it in this stage. Just a couple of minutes should do. When it comes to adjusting the consistency, if your porridge thickens too much while simmering, you can always add a little more water or broth. Keep it simmering gently and stir often to avoid sticking. Lastly, garnishes like green onions, sesame seeds, and nori strips add texture and brightness, elevating the dish visually and flavor-wise. These final touches make a big difference in the presentation and taste, so don't skip them if you have the ingredients on hand. Enjoy your abalone porridge and its delicate balance of flavors.